Hello there my fellow holotable heroes, and welcome to a slightly different Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. So no gameplay today. I just want to kind of look back because it's been exactly 2 years since I applied my first Omicron on Qui-Gon. So I want to look back really for over the past 2 years and go through all the characters that I applied Omicron on, and then as well kind of rank them, how useful they are actually today, like where are they now, what's their place when it comes to how I use them. So let's just get started. So first I'm gonna go with OGs. Like these guys, I feel like I don't really want to rank them because they hold a special place in my heart, because they were one of the first Omicrons I applied, and I had lots of fun with them. Well, some more than the others. Qui-Gon was my first one. It was absolutely fun to use. It was nuking everybody, even some galactic legends. And then of course CG then nerfed him quite quickly after that, just to make it sure that Qui-Gon can't really take out any of the galactic legends. Still quite useful now recently again, especially in 3v3, just kind of a dedicated counter for that Rex 5 steams that most people now are putting down on defense. And as well, we've had just actually expiring Qui-Gon Datacron that was very good as well, really boosting my ability. So yeah, Qui-Gon still is quite useful here in either 5v5 and 3v5. So even on defense, if you could put some good speed sets on these guys, they can still wreck some teams there. And then my second Omicron was Zem. Again, had so much fun with bounty hunters after applying this Omicron to Zem, just giving that extra speed, like about 70, between 70 and 80 speed to your bounty hunters. It really allowed them, to outrun a lot of teams out there. I know before Malgus arrived, we were taking on Darth Revans and things like that. So those were definitely fun times. However, with the emergence of Lord Vader, then kind of bounty hunters got pushed into the Fennec squad, and then kind of Zem's Omicron is kind of often being left behind, at least in where I am at, kind of border between Kyber 2 and Kyber 1. So Zem is one of those Omicrons that I don't really use all that often anymore. Moving on to Iden. Now, like Iden, once her Omicron launched, I immediately applied, even though she was like I think 3-star, gear 8, gear 9. I put that Omicron on her because she was very good even at low gear if you had some better, higher gear troopers around her. However, I think like her fame was very short, because I think 2 weeks after releasing Iden's Omicron, I think Wampa got an Omicron as well, and then Wampa just solos entire Iden teams and basically making Iden obsolete. So since then I've mostly been using Iden in case somebody did put Mon Mothma on defense, but again, don't see those often anymore. Iden can then also have use, I guess, if you want to do like a Lord Vader cleanup with troopers, but then her Omicron is not really useful because she's not in the lead. However, with the addition of Scout Trooper, now Iden is becoming a little bit more resilient towards Wampa solo. So actually Iden is kind of making a comeback here last couple of months in Grand Arena. So I think her Omicron again is going to be a lot more useful than it was since we had Wampa added to the game. First order TIE pilot, on paper this looked like an amazing Omicron, so I immediately applied it, but I just had limited use for this team, most annoyingly because you have to give up Hux. And then if you give up Hux, then Kylo loses some viability as well. And even on offense, you can get lucky, take out a Star Killer or an Afra Datacron depending. So it's one of those teams that it's very fun to use when you can get it to work. But again, I always struggle to find something to take out. So not really finding that much use for first order TIE pilot. So these are the OGs. These are my first 5 Omicrons, so they have a special place in my heart, so I didn't want to rank them. So now we can start looking at the rankings actually. So let's start at the bottom. I call them dust collectors. Now Dash, his Omicron, is it useful? I don't know, to be honest. Like on paper it looks good, yeah, well, whenever they lose prepare they regain it. But in most cases, like the counters being used versus Dash, it doesn't matter do you have Omicron or not. So again, I think if I would be doing this now again, as it stands today, I wouldn't apply Omicrons on Dash. So it's not something that I think brings a whole lot of value. So while Dash as a character is being used, his Omicron itself is more or less just collecting dust. It doesn't really bring a whole lot, if you ask me. And then moving on, Hondo. I was late on the Hondo train because obviously by the time I got him leveled up, his Datacron expired. I still slapped Omicron on him because, again, on paper, same like Dash, just looks like a good Omicron. But ever since he lost his Datacron, he doesn't have a whole lot of use. Yeah, you can put him on defense, but you know, Hondo won't scare anybody on defense. So again, another Omicron that's just collecting dust, to be honest. Along with Hondo, very rarely use him. At least, obviously, I do have him now at Relic 6, so I can use him for his mission in territory battles. But, you know, from Grand Arena perspective, where his Omicron would be acting, just collecting dust, to be honest. Moving on, Mara's Omicron. Now, this is a territory war Omicron. Personally, I just wouldn't apply any territory war Omicrons, but, you know, I want to be a good guild mate, so whenever a guild puts a request, hey guys, can everybody please put this Omicron, you know, if I do have once I do have a spare one, I go ahead and do it. Now this one actually for a while was very useful in territory wars, because obviously gives Mara 100% ter meter at the start of the battle. However, lately we just haven't been using Mara at all in the Star Killer lineup with Palpatine, because, you know, we are either using Malgus lead or Traya lead in territory wars that are superior to Palpatine lead, that, you know, I don't know, CLS, General Grievous, Phasma, Omicron, they can just easily take out Palpatine, Mara, Star Killer in territory wars. So not a character, not just Omicron, even character herself in territory wars, very rarely used these days, at least for me personally. So her Omicron just collecting dust now. Same thing with Trench. Trench was one of those where as soon as we got it unlocked for Conquest, Guild put out a request, hey, put Omicron, he'll be great. Well, you could get lucky in territory wars, maybe take down a Ray or something. I mean, Trench, it's still kind of like a good cleanup team if you want to take out a lone Jabba, lone Ray. But you don't really need Omicron for that, so... I mean, I guess weaker Ray Jabba teams, you could just take them out. But again, where I'm at, you know, the teams we are facing, the compositions, the Datacrons, Trench's Omicron just collecting dust, not doing really much. Now, Phasma's Omicron had like a short period, it was very, very cool. We were using it to counter Lord Vader with some of those Datacrons, and then as well Palpatine, Starkiller, Mara, Juhani teams. But again, as mentioned before, nobody puts, at least in my neck of the woods anymore, Palpatine, Starkiller teams on defense in territory wars. Everybody go either with Malgus or Traya, which makes it tougher for Phasma. I mean, we still kind of sometimes, if we've got no other choice, throw Phasma at these guys. By just Traya's leadership, obviously all those counter attacks, you know, are really kind of killing your team. So another Omicron that doesn't get really a whole lot of use. That's why it's in kind of dust collectors category. All right, so that's the next category where they're not collecting dust really, because they are being used in every single territory war. So these are all territory war Omicrons. However, in terms of ranking, for me personally, they're just above the dust collectors because Guild made me do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have applied them myself. And also, these are all defensive Datacrons, so I don't really use them on offense. So from my perspective, they're not really all that useful for me. Personally, obviously, Juhani goes into the Star Killer. It really takes Star Killer, brings Star Killer to relevancy in territory wars. Embo makes Jabba a little bit more annoying to deal with. Droideka again kind of pushes, you know, General Grievous into the relevancy again for territory wars. And finally, the duo of Ahsoka, Fulcrum, and Cal Kestis together. Now, mostly I think they just go with Rey on defense. So yeah, these are just kind of, you know, next level up from dust collectors from my point of view. Then next level up is the Omicrons that make these teams annoying to deal with if they're on defense. But again, I don't think like they make like a total transformation for the team. Like, yeah, Raditz is annoying to deal with, but whether he's got Omicron or not, kind of same counters will work equally well. Just Omicron makes it a little bit more annoying. It's a little bit more fiddly, but it's not like a game-changing really Omicron, from my opinion. Same thing with Zori, like her Omicron, while on paper looks nice, to be honest, I fight Finn Zori teams with or without Omicrons, again just using the same counters, and it works pretty much the same, because I think the only thing that Omicron adds is whenever Zori gets a turn, everybody get exposed, and that's it. But a lot of counters you use, Zori is not really getting that many turns, so while annoying, is not really, I would say, like, you know, game changing. And same thing for Ben Solo's Omicrons. Obviously I've got all three on him. That's really for Ray mirror matches, having that healing immunity, ignoring protection, it really helps out. But same thing like the other guys, like, yeah, Ben Solo's Omicron makes a little bit more annoying, but, you know, Star Killer still basically steamrolls pretty much any composition of Ray. Well, maybe some sort of Datacron combinations, but Datacrons come and go. So in grand scheme of things, yeah, Ben Solo's Omicrons are just, you know, at best annoying instead of game-changing. And speaking of game-changing, let's go ahead and speak about Omicrons that for me personally are game-changing. So Treya's Omicron really pushes Treya up, you know, to that almost galactic legend status. So, you know, you can really counter a lot of stuff. Like, it's so fun to unleash her lightsaber throw that does, you know, 3 times 100k damage or something. So definitely Treya, really cool Omicron. Same thing with Savage. You can either use Treya Savage together to make it really almost galactic legend style of team, or as well Savage if you're maybe, you know, not in Kyber but maybe a little bit in Arodium. I play Grand Arena and Arodium with another count, and there's Savage. Every single round you find a team to solo with, so Savage as well, I would say it's absolutely game-changing Omicron. Same thing for Malgus, although Malgus was a staple defensive squad, but now with Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, he's more transforming into offensive squad, but I would still say it's like his Omicron is game-changing, just because, you know, he can still deal with some of those annoying teams like Riva or Seer Junda as with Malakas, so it's still a very useful Omicron to have. I have only one on him, his lead, and that's more than enough. You don't need to have all 3 on him to really make him useful. Same thing with Seer. I would say it's game changing because Seer without her Omicron is just really bad batch food. However, once you put an Omicron on there, especially if you add Malakas, you know, Seer Junda's Omicron really transforms that entire team to be really tough to beat. Now Tusken Raider, we just now have Tusken Datacrons active. This is only a 3v3 Grand Arena Omicron, but it is a game changing. Like, these guys, Chieftain, Warrior and Raider in 3v3, they're a menace. You know, definitely very few counters that you can use versus these guys, especially if they do have a proper Datacron. So definitely, I would say, I know it's only a 3v3 Omicron, however, it really helps out because, to be honest, from what I see, there are only 2 non-galactic legend reliable counters in 3v3 versus this lineup, Gas and Treya, and that's it from what I've seen. So, you know, definitely a game-changing Omicron. Then let's go on to the sort of GL Omicrons here. They're not really galactic legends, but these Omicrons enable these teams to take out galactic legends. Starkiller needs no introduction. He takes out Rey easily. Maybe Supreme the Kylo Ren, but obviously we don't see Kylos on defense often. Riva can take a whole bunch of galactic legends out, depending on Datacrons obviously, but I've used her to take out Jabba, Jedi Master Kenobi, Jedi Master Luke, really, you know, handling all these galactic legends quite easily. Same thing with Malakas. A lot of people now have been using him with Starkiller to take down those annoying Rey teams with their Datacrons and everything. It's definitely these 3 characters, I would say, are definitely, their Omicrons push them into the galactic legend territory when it comes to Grand Arena. Now the next 3 Omicrons I want to talk about is, for me personally, to be decided, because these are my latest 3 Omicrons, so I'm not really sure yet how useful they will be. I was a little bit hesitant to apply my Omicron on Afra because it doesn't really look that game changing, but we'll have to wait and see. But now obviously that we do have Datacron for Afra, I did apply Omicron on her, so you know I can go ahead and hopefully take a job as here in Grand Arena. I think that's gonna be really nice. But after obviously her Datacron expires, not sure really her Omicron push her to be able to do something else than normally we use her for, which is to take out Finzori teams, and I was doing that even without her Omicron. But Omicron, I guess from my experience, it makes it a little bit more reliable, a little bit easier. But again, I'm not sure where exactly would I put it at the moment. If I remove her Datacron, I would just put her Omicron somewhere probably in the annoying category rather than game changing. For Marin, I actually applied her Omicron because I've got my Night Sisters now to Relic 7, so I can do their mission on Dathomir in the territory battles. And I'm like, look, I have them at Relic 7, might as well slap an Omicron on Marin. The thing with Night Sisters is in 3v3, no matter what Marin comp you put on defense, Wampa will solo it from what I can see. But on offense, I mean, you know, they can take out some teams. Really, I was hoping to try out to counter Jabba in 3v3, but just when I got my Night Sisters ready to try that, now Jabba got a Datacron from Bausch Leia that probably will stop Night Sisters working, so I really have to probably wait 3-4 months until this Jabba Datacron expires, and then I might actually be able to get a full potential of this Marin team out. And obviously if I can't take out Jabba with this, then I guess Marin just gonna go into annoying category again. I'll have to wait and test. Captain Rex, it's basically a repeat of Honda's story. By the time I got Rex farmed up, 7 stars, relicked up, his Datacron just expired. I did put Omicron on him because it does look nice, but again, to really be decided to see how useful he will be without his Datacron. So I guess if I do that next year, he might be ranked somewhere. But again, I think that's just kind of, I guess, annoying category for now. So these 3, from what I've seen from my personal use, they're not really game changing, just more like in the annoying category. All right, now let's look at maybe what's up next. Now in terms of my Omicrons, I think I've got 6 out of 20 farmed up, so I'm still quite far away before I have my next Omicron ready. But I will definitely be saving them up for Darth Bane, so kind of Sith Assassin there, if you will. He's a placeholder for Darth Bane, which will be unlocking in 3 months time. So definitely I will be saving at least 1 Omicron for Darth Bane. But in the meantime, you probably get 1 Omicron a month, so maybe once I get Saw Gerrera relicked up, because you will see a theme here. I'm relicking up my units. I'm prioritizing now all the units that I can use in territory battles, and Saw Gerrera, he does have a mission there. I believe it's on Kashyyyk, on the light side in Sector 3, so I will be relicking him up at some point, and once I do that, his Omicron, is it game changing? I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, I guess, but it's definitely annoying to deal with. And same thing with Asajj. I think that once Jabba loses his Datacron, I might slap actually Omicron on Asajj and just tend to see, can I actually use Night Sisters to counter Jabba at some point in the future. So these are the 3 ones that I'm kind of thinking of doing. Darth Bane definitely, but in the meantime, maybe one of these we'll have to wait and see. Or maybe we get some new. It's been actually a while since we got like some sort of rework for some of the older characters to get some Omicron, but I just was going through all the list of Omicrons for Grand Arena that I do not have yet, and I just don't see anything that totally stands out to me that would make a huge difference. So if I don't see anything, and if my guild doesn't come up with some request, hey, put an Omicron over on the Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, I might have, you know, 2 or even 3 Omicrons saved up for Darth Bane, so maybe I'll drop a couple of them on him, depend obviously on his kit, how it will perform. Okay guys, hopefully this video was a little bit useful and helpful, just showing you all of my Omicrons that I applied, and obviously how I rank them as of right now, as of recording of this video. Some definitely aged well, like for example here, Qui-Gon, Wampa, Again, very rarely able to find use for Wampa. So from the OGs, I would say Qui-Gon is getting very good use every single time, and Iden kind of slowly making a comeback thanks to the Scout addition of Scout Trooper. Death Collectors, you know, they're there, but they don't really do a whole lot. This just goes on defense in territory wars. I have no idea if they help or not. These ones are annoying as always, and the game changers, so these are the ones that I enjoy the most, the GLs and the game changing category that I use every single time, sometimes on defense, sometimes on offense, but whenever I do bring them on offense, they're so much fun to play with. TBD category again, this is just something that will need a little bit more testing in the coming months, and then we'll have to wait and see what I'll do once I have more Omicrons available to dish out. Alright guys, thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next one, but until then have fun, enjoy life, and may the RNG be with you, my friends.